Happy holidays, everybody. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is our Horror Movie Superlatives pick for the entire decade of the 2000s, since Carl and I just wrapped up covering that decade 2 weeks ago. But now we're going to give you our picks for the entire decade, also with the runner-up. Just, of course, the rules are we had to have used the movie for one of our picks, so we only have 10 choices for Most Amazing. It's a lot harder than I thought, but it was a fun and challenging series going through these movies, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Now, of course, as you know, after you watch my video, if you haven't done so already, you can go to Carl's channel, watch his video. I have a link to his channel in the description down below. Then if you like, you don't have to, you can go to the community tab on his page and vote for who you thought had the better picks, whether they closely resembled your own more, or whoever had the better justifications. It's all in good fun. But, of course, let us know where your picks are in the comments down below. Carl and I both love, talking to you guys. It's a lot of fun. We just all love this horror genre so much. There's no right or wrong opinions. We just like talking about it. So it's fun to share all these different opinions on what we like and what we don't like. And before I do get started, if you could, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to both of our channels. Just hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell. We both put out multiple videos a week. A lot of work, but we do enjoy it because we love this genre, and we hope you guys can enjoy it too by just taking that one moment, hitting that subscribe button. We both really do appreciate it. One last thing, this holiday season, I am giving away this Funko Pop of Wolverine. Just something I started doing a few years ago, just want to spread some holiday cheer. Rules are, you have to be subscribed to my channel, and you can comment on any video, including YouTube Shorts, starting from November 20th till December 18th. So any video I release during that block, one comment per video gets you one entry. So you can only enter once per video. But after the 18th of December, I'll add all entries to a random generator, and I will send you this Funko Pop of Wolverine. And I'll probably have some other swag in there as well. Just some way of spreading some holiday cheer. Okay, everybody, so let's get started. And these are going to be my horror movie superlatives for the 2000s. And my pick for the most amazing horror movie to come out in the 2000s is Saw, released in 2004. And my runner-up was a movie I absolutely adore, Let the Right One In. I was back and forth between both of these movies because I love them so much. But I went with Saw because of the impact it had on the genre as a whole. But Let the Right One In is definitely one of the most amazing horror movies to come out in the 2000s. But for Saw, I feel it was the standout horror movie for the decade, the way it reinvigorated the horror genre with a simple but very effective premise. Two men trapped in a room with a ticking clock, and they had like this moral dilemma. That type of setup keeps you invested the entire film. And it's hard to predict where the movie will go. It just kind of keeps you guessing. Now, our villain Jigsaw has become a cultural icon. He's up there with Freddy, Jason, Michael, and Leatherface Chucky as well. He's light years better than Ghostface as a villain. No competition. But another thing I like about this movie is you have the moral ambiguity in the film with the traps. It's more than just gore. The gore is specified for the person in the trap, because each trap was specifically, designed for that victim. So, and the traps, they make you, as a viewer, at least they made me think, what would I do if I was here? How would I survive this? And this franchise is still going along after 10 movies, and with even more on the way. And for a while, we even got a new installment every year. And I have to mention, of course, one of the greatest things about this movie is that twist ending. One of the best endings in a horror movie in the entire decade of the 2000s. It's been 20 years since the movie came out, and I think that ending still holds up. I actually wish I could go back and watch it again for the first time, just to experience that ending with a fresh set of eyes. But yeah, it's a great film, really good franchise, and Saw is my pick for most amazing horror film to come out in the 2000s. My pick for the best So Bad It's Good film goes to The Happening, released in 2008, with my runner-up being Beyond Reanimator. Now, I wanted to pick Birdemic, which was my pick for the year 2000, but I had an error in that video, and Birdemic was released in 2010, so a little goof on my part. So I'm going to pick a horror movie that's so bizarre, it just leaves you laughing and questioning every choice the characters make that you can look away. As you know, it's The Happening. Now, what makes this So Bad It's So Good movie? I think with most So Bad It's Good movies, you need over-the-top acting, a ridiculous plot, unintentionally comedic moments that still has a charm to it despite its many flaws, and that is The Happening. Here you have Mark Wahlberg's performance that he acts just as confused the entire film. What? No. Then you have Zoe Deschanel's wide-eyed, vapid, detached delivery in every line of dialogue that she puts out. Nothing changes. Go back and watch it. And she just has this wide-eyed look in everything that she says. She emotes nothing. You have people running from the wind in this movie. Now, the happening may not have scared audiences the way M. Night Shyamalan intended, but it left its mark as one of the most unintentionally funniest, strangest, yet still bizarrely entertaining horror movies of the 2000s. And for me, that gives it the crown for the best so bad it's good film of the decade. The most WTF film of the decade goes to The Human Centipede, released in 2009, with the runner-up being The Girl Next Door. Two wildly different movies. This was my most recent WTF film since it came out in 2009, and there was really no beating it, in my opinion. As you know, it's about a surgeon who kidnaps 3 people and makes a human centipede of them by sewing them mouth to anus. That concept alone is WTF, and it's enough WTF for me. But the thing is, what makes this movie even more WTF, it's played dead-ass serious the entire time. Even the tagline of the movie saying 100% medically accurate. Don't get me wrong, I do not like this movie, and I have no reason to ever watch it again. But it is one of the most WTF films I have ever watched. And it's kind of hard to sit through, just especially the scene where the 3 victims are now a human centipede, and a guy in front starts to poop, and yeah, it's just that whole scene. It's something I want to remember. It's really uncomfortable. Jada Lizer, the main actor, rest in peace. His portrayal of Dr. Hyder is very WTF. He doesn't really come off as insane since he's like 100% believes in the science of his experiment. So his performance really set a weird tone for this movie. I'd like to know what his motivation was when he was acting in this film. Like, how did he develop this character? Was he trying to emulate another character in history or whatnot? The whole concept is WTF. The seriousness of this movie is WTF. And the film's unapologetic commitment to the idea of a human centipede by far makes this movie the most WTF movie of the 2000s. My selection for the best gore goes to Hatchet, released in 2006, with the runner-up being Tokyo Gore Police. This movie has buckets of blood, very creative kills, and a killer that doesn't hold back at all. Another movie that shows you why practical effects will always rule the horror genre. There's a great balance of shock and entertainment with these kills. One of my favorite kills is when Victor Crowley rips Shannon's head open like a pull tab on an old soda can, pulling her mouth open and peeling on top of her head back. The shocking when you first see it is so good you just kind of want to watch it again. Again, great use of practical effects in all the kills in this film. And one of the taglines for this movie is old school American horror, and that's exactly what you get. You could tell this movie was made by a fan of horror movies, Adam Green. It pays homage to 80s slashers that I grew up with. You got the variety of kills as well. Most everyone is killed in a different manner in this film, and I really enjoy that. I even covered this movie on my Nails in a Coffin series, and I'll put a link up here for you to check that out. And the way you can see all the kills is how I rate how well a victim did. You know, arms are ripped off while the person is still alive. Someone is hacked in half with a hatchet. Someone gets the lower half of their face, sanded off. The fire stunt looks great as well. And I have to mention how great Victor Crowley looks. So it all combines into why the gore in this movie is so great. He is reminiscent of Jason Voorhees, but in a good way where it doesn't come off as derivative. Of course, he is played by Kane Hodder. Name says it itself right there. He is a legend. But Hatchet is a gore-soaked, bloodied good time, and my pick for the best gore of the entire decade. For the most unique, I went with American Psycho, released in 2000. The runner-up being Triangle. Now, with American Psycho, is it a horror movie? Is it a dark comedy? Is it a psychological thriller? Yes, it's actually all of those, I think. American Psycho kind of defies definition when you break it down. And for me, that's what made it make the most unique horror film of the 2000s. The way it mixes horror, satire, a psychological drama even. Make it really like no other film in a decade that I watched. I did read the novel by Bret Easton Ellis, and Christian Bale nails the character of Patrick Bateman. His obsession over things like a plain white business card is intriguing. He even starts to sweat during that scene. It's a unique way, the way the movie's, another unique thing I should say about the movie is its open-end structure to it. You never really know if he's committed these actual crimes or if everything is just in his head. The movie pretty much requires multiple viewings because you can gain something from each time you watch the movie based on what you're looking for. You know, if you release this movie today, nearly 25 years later, I think it's still relevant to what, when you look at today's society, you can definitely, draw parallel lines with it. You got Patrick's obsession with wealth and status is an easy parallel to the social media age we all currently live in. There aren't too many films that compare to this movie that came out in the 2000s. It's got a unique blend of violence, social commentary, thriller aspects, psychological drama, along with Bale's performance as the titular character. And for all those reasons is why I picked this for the most unique horror film of the 2000s. For most overrated, I went with Cloverfield, released in 2008, runner-up being 28 Days Later. I love found footage films, and I watch them a lot. I watch all of them. You know, when you watch a found footage film, you have to ask yourself, is this movie letting the viewer know why they're still filming when there's nothing but chaos around you? This film never really answers that question, like why are they still filming? There's no reason for them to still be filming, and just to say, oh, I want to document this. People are going to want to see it. That's just stupid. Who cares who sees it if you're dead? Especially if it's going to jeopardize your life. Who cares if you see it? It's just dumb. The marketing of this movie kind of tried to say it was going to redefine the horror genre, which is far, far from delivering on that. You know, with found footage movies, you're going to see shaky cam. But here, it's so bad since they're running the entire time. You can almost get, like, motion sick from it. The story really doesn't develop as well, and it only exists to frustrate you because the characters make all the dumbest decisions possible. None of them are relatable, and I just waited for all of them to die. I can't see how they survived as long as they did, other than pure luck. You know, found footage films were as popular back then when this movie came out in 2008 as they are today. But because back then it still wasn't even a new concept, but it just failed in so many aspects, in my opinion. You know, with this movie, it felt more like a gimmick than a filming style. Oh, let's just make it found footage because people like Blair Witch. It didn't really add to the plot. I think the film would have been better if it was not found footage. It just would have been a kaiju type movie. But here, shaky cam all over the place, characters making the dumbest decisions possible, characters you don't care about, pacing all over the place. It was just a mess of a film, and for all those reasons, I picked it as the most overrated horror film of the 2000s. And wrapping up with, like Carlin, one of my favorite categories, if not my favorite category, most underrated, and my pick for the most underrated horror film of the 2000s goes to The Loved Ones. Runner-up, Rob Zombie's Halloween, that I unapologetically love that movie. I picked The Loved Ones here. This movie needs more people talking about it. It's an excellent film that I just adore. It was overshadowed by many other films such as Saw, The Collector, 28 Days Later, and so on. There really wasn't any marketing that I saw for this film. I watched it on a DVD that I got in a horror subscription box. This film has great characters. You know, first you have Lola. She appears to be an innocent young woman, only to find out how truly sadistic she really is. Her obsession is kind of reminiscent to me of Annie Wilkes from Misery. On top of that, you got the relationship with her father, so once you peel back the layers on that, some of the true horror of this film starts to unfold, and it's like so gradual. You know, there are lots of themes to explore in The Loved Ones: grief, trauma, rejection. Brent, other character, he goes through hell in this movie, and he's the type of character you're going to root for and get behind. There's excellent tension in this film, and that just builds gradually, and once it starts rolling, it gets bigger and bigger like a snowball rolling down a ski slope. If you haven't seen The Loved Ones, you're missing one of the most uniquely disturbing and emotionally rich horror films of the 2000s that is vastly, vastly underrated. So if you haven't seen The Loved Ones, go check it out. My most underrated horror pick for the 2000s. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my horror movie superlatives for the 2000s. Here's a quick recap of all my picks. And don't forget to let Carl and I know what your picks are in the comments down below. And if you haven't done so already, please go to Carl's channel, link in the description. Watch his video the same name. And then if you like, you go to the community tab on his page and vote for who you thought had the better picks. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps both of us out how to grow these channels. Just take a second for you. All you gotta do is hit that button, notification bell, so you don't miss a video. We both pull out a bunch of videos every week. A lot of fun, and don't forget to leave a comment on my video, and you'll get an entry to win the Funko Pop I was talking about at the beginning of the film. We'll see you here in 2 weeks for another episode of Horror Movie Superlatives, where I believe Carl and I are going to start the decade of the 2010s. Should be a lot of fun, but hope you're all doing well. Happy holidays to everybody. Hope you're doing wonderful, and I will see you soon. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.